Good morning. How are we? Someone asked me a couple of days ago why I joined the online business. And my first response was money. Now, it is money. Money is part of it. Money was the temptation that got me there. But it got me thinking, why do I want money? Hello, Cheryl. Nice to have you join me. It's not just for the money. It's what the money is going to do for me. I have lived a very, very interesting life, and hello Louise, I've had times in my life where, we've been really comfortable, had plenty of money. I say we, I was married for 26 years, had a family of 4, and now I've got a much bigger family because they're all partnered up, married, grandchildren. But when I found myself alone, which was 7 years ago now, I had a house and a mortgage that I couldn't afford. We'd been through a bumpy couple of years towards the end of the marriage for one reason or another. And the mortgage was behind, but even besides that, even if it wasn't behind, on my salary that I was making in retail, I couldn't afford to keep the mortgage. And, because the mortgage had been behind for a couple of years, and, we'd been really doing all we could to catch it up, obviously. I was continually being hounded by phone calls from the mortgage company. I didn't even want to answer the phone. I was scared of answering the phone, and it'd ring while I was at work. And I was in new employment at the time, so, answering the phone and talking to mortgage companies while I was at work was just out of the, just wasn't possible. So I used to ignore all these phone calls. And, they had huge demands on me, wanting, overdue payments and excess interest and all sorts of stuff. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, it got to the point where, I was frozen in fear. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in that situation, but it was the worst experience of my life. Apart from, being on my own. Sorry, I didn't expect to get so emotional. Apart from being on my own, having this, house that was supposedly gifted to me out of the marriage that I couldn't afford. Anyway, this day, after I'd been on my own for about 12 months, I thought I was going to take control, and I rang the mortgage company and I said to them, I have the perfect solution. And they said, what? They told me that I had so many thousands of dollars that was behind, that if I didn't pay within 7 days, they would evict me. They'd left this message for me on the phone, a couple of days earlier. Anyway, I rang them and I said, I want to give you the keys. I've had enough and I can't see any solution, and I'd like you to take the house back. I had been trying to sell the house, for quite a while beforehand, and had no takers. So they said, yeah, that'll work. So, by the time I got home from work that day, the sheriff was at the door with a notice of 28 days to vacate. So, life got really interesting and really busy right then. But the thing was, as soon as I got off the phone from the mortgage company, I was jumping up and down with relief and excitement. I'd finally taken my power back. I'd been grovelling for so long, Hello, Leah. Lovely to see you. I'd been grovelling for so long that, just that simple act of finishing that saga gave me immense freedom. And I moved into a rental house, and it was the most beautiful house. It's such beautiful energy and just suited me down to the ground. And I was there for 5 years, and I loved that little house. I was renting, so it wasn't mine, but it could have been mine. Anyway, when my job at the bookstore finished, I took to the road. I let go of all of my stuff. And, some people think that that was a ridiculous decision, but to me, it was the best decision I'd ever made. It was my freedom. I gave all of my things, if my kids didn't want it went to the Salvation Army, it went to charity, Vinnie's, and consequently, I packed up. I went on the road with pretty much just what I could fit in my car. I'm at my parents' house at the moment, and I've got my self-help library here. I've got a lot of books. I used to manage a bookstore, so, forgive me for that. But, pretty much everything else I own still fits in my car. And I've been like this for 2.5 years. And I'm still carrying over debt, from when we were married. And the reason I joined this business was because I want to get myself back on my feet. I've had fun these last 2.5 years, and I've been meeting my payments, on my debt, but I'm not gaining any traction. And I'm not getting younger, and I've got lots of life I still want to live, but I also don't want to leave my kids in debt. I want to be able to, when I do finally decide to retire, and some people say, well, you're retired now. Well, I don't consider myself retired. I consider myself to be, having a grand adventure. And, I'm a life coach as well. So I've got income and a healer. I've got some income coming in, but not enough to get in front. And the thought of leaving my kids with debt or not being able to retire in a house of my own comfortably, it really hurts. If something happened to me now, I hate to imagine what I'm leaving my kids and what would cost them, even just to bury me, and I don't want to leave them in that situation. And I know there's a lot of other women out there, particularly around my age, that have found themselves on their own for one reason or another, or they're married, but they're not really comfortable. They don't feel like they're contributing. And this business, even though I joined for the money, and the money is there, and I'm freeing myself, this business is much more than that. This business is about finding yourself. When there's something missing in your life, when you've got crap around money, and money isn't in your life, it means there's a part of us where we're not allowing money to flow, a part of ourself that we haven't quite discovered and been able to release. Now, I thought I had lots of issues around money, and I've actually realised in the last couple of days that they weren't my issues. They were issues that I took on during my married life. They were issues, they were beliefs, they were things that were thrown at me as thoughts, as beliefs that I took on, but they weren't mine. And it's not around money, but actually the lack of money. It's the lack of money that ever caused pain. It wasn't the money itself. Thanks, Louise. You're a sweetheart. But, you know, as I said, I joined for the money, but this business is so much more. This business is about connecting with yourself, and it's about connecting others into their own empowerment too. You know, 80% of success is mindset. And mindset, you know, involves all our beliefs, our belief structures about who we are, what's going on in the world, how we create our own lives, that we're creators and not victims. It's about compassion and understanding for the self. It's about getting to know the self and acceptance of self. It's about realising that everybody else are just like you, and that we're, at the core, we're all the same. And that life is about gratitude and about exploration. It's not about getting anywhere. It's about using every experience in our life to understand ourselves better and to take our power and use it wisely to help not only ourselves but our neighbours. And I know the potential of this business to free anybody that is feeling like they're trapped. You know, to feel like you're trapped feels bad because it's not our natural state. We aren't trapped at all, but we use our thoughts and our beliefs to believe that we are. And when we realise that it's our beliefs that are shaping our life, that we've actually got the ability to change our life in any single moment, to create something differently. Everything is a perspective. You know, we look at the world around us and we have our unique perspective on it, or we listen to others and we take their perspective. But there's an unlimited number of perspectives to take in each moment. And any perspective that feels uncomfortable isn't our truth. So it's about really understanding who we are and finding a truth, finding a perspective that feels good and going with that. And that's where listening to our heart comes in. And I know when I discovered this business, my heart came alive, and I didn't know why. You know, I knew it had the offer of the money and time freedom. I didn't know what else was involved in this business. But it really is not just an abundance of money and time, it offers an abundance of self, because it makes us face ourselves. It makes us look at all the areas in our life where we haven't got ease and flow. And, you know, we face them, but we don't have to face them alone. You know what? It's such an incredible community that I've found through this business. You know, I'm connecting with ladies every single day who are going through their own situations, but supporting each other. You know, I'm never alone. Never. I've got a group of people that I can reach out to in any single moment and get their perspectives, get their love, as I do for them. You know, and this, you know, I've been on the self-help trail or into spirituality and you name it. I've been doing this since 2007, and, you know, I didn't expect an online business to have so many rewards. But the biggest reward of this business is that we get to share it. And the more we share it with, the more powerful it becomes. It's a vehicle to bring this abundance in completeness to anybody that wants it. You know, and obviously I resonate with other women who are going through struggle. But there's men and women in this business from 18 to 70. We don't need any particular talents. The training goes through all of it, step by step, at handholds. And the community is there. They're with us step by step, hand-holding and cheering us on. And it's just the most wonderful, you know, experience that I've ever had. To feel like I belong somewhere, that I've actually found, you know, my tribe. I'm a part of something that is awakening humanity. People are joining this business for the time and the money and realising who they are. You know, farmers and miners, factory workers, entrepreneurs, people who have been so busy in their head and caught up by the beliefs of humanity, and they're realising, hey Carolyn, love you, beautiful. You know, and we're all in it together, and we're all becoming conscious, and we're all realising our abundance. And part of that abundance is money, you know, and a lot of spiritual people have trouble with money. And we've got to get over that, because money's just as spiritual as anything else. I'm so grateful to be part of this with you too, Carolyn. It's beautiful. Anyway, I've been talking far too long. Thank you all for listening to me, and I hope it resonates with some of you. And if anyone wants to know any more about this business, then yeah, please comment below. Just type freedom or abundance and I will connect with you personally. So have a beautiful day. Bye for now.